Yo guys, what's good? My name is Callum Dolby and welcome back to another video on the channel. So this is my Posh review of the game today against Port Vale away, and we're talking about yet another Peterborough United win. Now after them two losses in a row, or however many losses in a row it was, the fans were questioning Williams' tactics, team selections and just the players' effort, me included, and I don't think they've proven us wrong today. I think that it's a step in the right direction, but we didn't really deserve the win. Maybe is not the right word, but I think we made hard work of it, and against a team of Port Vale's standard, I mean, they were terrible today, and they still probably deserved at least a point from the game. Was quite concerning to me, but it's another win, it's another 3 points, and we're out of the relegation zone. That's all that really matters. So yeah, we're talking about another win today, and I'm just going to get into some general thoughts on the game. I've wrote some notes down as I was watching it, and I thought it was quite an interesting game. Obviously, 5 minutes in, Port Vale had their first chance. It was a good cross from the right-hand side into Wayne, and he somehow missed from about 5 or 6 yards out, and that was our first warning sign, really. They were breaking on us quite hard, especially from our own corners. There was a couple of times we did short corners, and Wood's delivery was terrible today, and it kept going out, and then they kept breaking on us down the left hand or right hand side, whichever way it was, on that particular occasion, and it was concerning, man. I mean, these is a team that have won one game, all season at home, and I don't think we made ourselves look very good today. I mean, it's hard to come on here and talk about a win in a kind of negative way, but like, I don't know. I just got the sense that we didn't. A lot of our players didn't really know what they were being asked to do today, or if they did know what they were being asked to do, they just couldn't sort of pull it off in the way that the manager wanted. I have full trust in Williams, but I think the players that he's got at his disposal just aren't good enough, especially some of them. Obviously, I'm going to get into my player range soon, and if you can hear some ambulances and police outside, just ignore it. They'll be gone soon. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm trying to sort of concentrate and get through the video, but I can just hear wee woo outside. It's a bit jarring, but yeah, hopefully it's all fine, whatever they're going to, but it doesn't sound good. So yeah, I just thought I'd apologise for that if you can hear it. But yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for Williams. He's been kind of hamstrung from the minute that he got in the building with this squad. So we're going to go through like player by player, but I'm going to sort of break down the game as it went. So 10 minutes in, all I've got written down here is that we were just getting battered. I mean, we barely got into their half. Like, I barely even saw their keeper's kit. I didn't really know what it looked like. It was like it was a strange one. We were getting absolutely penned in. Now I get that they were at home, but they've been shocking at home, and the crowd weren't on their side at all. There was a couple of times where they got behind them, but a lot of misplaced passes and through balls and stuff like that. The fans were booing and really getting on their own team's back, and I just don't feel like we capitalised on that whatsoever. And it was a hard watch, especially in the first half. A really bad quality game. A really bad quality game, a half of football, in my opinion. When we did get forward, the shots were straight at the keeper. There was one from Lisby, I think, around 40th minute. I think it was about then, near half time, where he got played clean through on goal. The defender kind of came across, and he kind of just put himself into a weird situation that he couldn't get out of, and then just absolutely spooned a shot wide with his left. So yeah, it was just bad quality all round, and I was a bit concerned going into half time. But yeah, Lisby, I thought was okay today. He had some decent runs. I mean, I was watching it at home, and the commentators were like, "Oh, he's been so much better than everyone else," and I think they got kind of blindsided. Like, yes, he had the ball a lot, but like I don't think he really did a massive amount with it when he did have it. It was kind of a weird one with him. Like, yes, he did make a couple of decent plays and obviously assisted Leonard for the goal, but I couldn't really. I feel like he wasted the ball so much, and some of his passing was really wayward. And it was actually near the half time. Good play from Garbett, slipped through to Lisby. Really good pass from Garbett, and he just completely sliced it wide. And then start the second half, kind of went as the first half did. They got a good low cross into Cole, who I said was the danger man, and he kind of put it straight at the keeper. And that was kind of the story of Port Vale's game as well. Like they'd get into good positions, make a good cross, and it would just go straight into Bass's arms or would clear it. And I can relate, under Fergie and even sometimes under Williams, we just didn't have that attacking impetus to go forward and really threaten in any meaningful way. And today it was a lot of the same. I mean, the wingers were getting quite a lot of the ball, the left a lot more than the right, but we just couldn't create that cutting edge. And then the game kind of went in a bit of a lull. Jimmy J came off on 60th minute, and I was baffled by that substitution. I thought he was one of our better players. If anything, I thought Woods probably should have gone off at that point, and we could have gone like a 4-2-4, or a similar formation with two up top and Garbett in the 10 maybe. So I thought that was a bit of a baffling sub. I don't think he's actually played 90 minutes for us in his whole career here, which is a strange one, really. I mean, you'd think by now he'd be up to fitness, especially with the break in games and stuff. I've had a full week to rest, recover, and go again. But it kind of just seems that he caps out at that 60th minute. I don't know if it's because he presses so hard that he's just completely knackered, but I don't know what's going on. And then there was just a bit of a lull in the game. There wasn't really much going on from either team. It was kind of end to end, but nothing really around the goal mouth. And then it came to at the 82nd minute, and Bass played a long ball down to Lindgren, who on the right hand side, who played a lovely sort of curling ball all the way over from the right hand side to the left hand side of the box, and Lisby controlled it, passed it into Leonard, who finished a very, very good finish on his weak foot into the corner. He kind of cut across the ball with his left foot into the bottom right hand corner, and I was really pleased for Leonard because he is head and shoulders above a lot of players in this team. Him and Jimmy J are very, very good players, and the more he scores, the better for us. Obviously, we climb up the table, and it just increases his value. And I know I don't want to think about selling him, but you've always got to have that in the back of your mind to clear some of our debt. And if he keeps scoring and scoring and scoring, the offers in January are going to get bigger. I don't think we'll sell him in January, but I generally could see him going in the summer if he has a stormer of a season with us like he seems to be having. Then I feel like he could go for some decent money, and I am a bit concerned about that because of course you want to keep your best players, but I feel like it might be one of them, similar to like a Dwight Gale sort of thing. He'll come in for a season, play really well, and then get picked up by a championship going into Premier League team. So we'll see how it goes. If he can keep this run of form up, then he could hit 20-25 goals easily. But yeah, nothing too much happened. There wasn't really much coming from Port Vale near the end of the game. A lot of sloppy passes, a lot of passes into touch, and they didn't have really any threat going forward. I can't really remember them sort of going for our goal constantly and sort of throwing the kitchen sink at us. It was kind of just like they kind of just accepted it. I don't think they had the quality to break our defence down, which was good to see. Bass didn't really have too much to do, and there were a couple of bad performances in our defence who I'll get onto, but they just didn't really seem to have the quality to do much. I think there was one time Cole got it on the left hand side and just lost the ball, dribbled into his man, and then it reset again, and then the boos at full time. Jeez, man, that was bad. It reminded me of our FA Cup game against Barnsley. The boos at the end of that game from us were similar to what the Port Vale fans did to their own team. So yeah, my thoughts on the game in general. I've kind of done a bit more of a timeline today of events, and I know it was a little bit rambly, but I'm gonna try and break it down going forward in like other videos where it's like this happened at this time, and then you get a clearer version of events rather than just speaking about the game in general. I think that's quite a good way to do it, so I will improve on that as time goes on. But yeah, I've made a lot of notes for it, and I feel like you get a better picture of the game, even though you can't see it, if I kind of explain it how it happened in real time. But yeah, it was a really scrappy game today. I mean, obviously I'm absolutely buzzing with the win, but yeah, there definitely were some concerning signs and concerning players, which leads me nicely into my player ratings. So I'm going to start in goal with Alex Bass. I thought he was fine. Nothing really. I thought his kicking was a bit better today. Nothing really like anything amazing, but nothing good either. There's not really too much to comment on him, to be honest. I thought he was just solid. He came to claim a couple of crosses. I can't even remember him making any saves. I think there was a couple where they kind of drilled low crosses into the box, and he kind of just sort of snuffed it out before they even managed to get a shot away. So I guess fair play to sort of being alert to that danger. So I've given him a 6. I think that's quite a fair rating. And then we're going to go in across the defence, right to left. So I'm going to start with Dornelli. No, I don't want to be harsh on one of our own, but he had a stinker today. I don't think there's any other way we can dress that up. Obviously, Kioso was suspended, and we started Dornelli. Johnston is not fancied at all by Williams, and I was surprised that Dornelli started today, given that the last chance he had, he didn't really play well in that either. He was getting pretty much dominated from minute one by his winger. When he did get the ball, he looked a bit lost. I thought his passes were pretty bad today, and there was a lot of times where he got forward and then he left an absolutely massive gap that no one was covering. I feel like Tom Lee's kind of had to cover that right back area as well a lot of the time, which is not something he should be doing, especially considering his age and his pace. He's not one of them that can get across to cover his fullback. And obviously Garbutt ain't going to do that either. You know what you're going to get from Garbutt, and it's not really that tracking back, especially when he's playing right wing. So yeah, I was disappointed in Dornelli today. I thought he kind of got chucked in there, and he had a bit of a stinker. I'm going to give him a 3. I know that's harsh, but he really didn't do himself any favours today going forward. I can see Johnston starting now. Well, obviously Kioso will be back, but I can see if in like a backup sort of situation, or if we need to rotate Kioso, I think Johnston's gonna start. And I think just in general that right back position does concern me, because Kioso hasn't been good in a few games recently. Dornelli hasn't impressed me for a while. And Johnston is not a Williams sort of player, so yeah, it is concerning. I do think that obviously it's saying sign another right back, but we need to get rid of one. We need to get rid of one or two of them, because you can't have 4 right backs in the building, which is why I suggested when I went on the Posh cast, get a loan for Dornelli and then bring in a permanent sign in, just so Dornelli can improve his game maybe in League 2. And really get a run of fixtures, because it's not fair for him either if he just sits on the bench the rest of the season, right? So I'm going to group both centre-backs together, and I'm going to give Lees and Akagbaya both a 6. I thought they did fine today. I thought they were both solid, decent at playing out from the back, and I didn't really notice either of them do anything catastrophically wrong. I think that there was a couple of misplaced headers and stuff from Akagbaya, but that's what you're going to get with him. And I thought in general they were just both solid. Like they kept out Port Vale strikers relatively well, and there's not really too much I can comment on them. Like they didn't score, from a corner or anything. I think it was just a solid centre back display from both of them, and they're forming a good partnership, which is what I spoke about in the preview. I want to see them partnerships all through the pitch now. So we're going to get into Mendy. Wow. That was... I mean, I feel bad for him, right? Spoiler, it's a very low rating. I feel bad for him because he got chucked in when he shouldn't have. He was not fit. He was terrible before his injury, and he hasn't got any better. Nowhere near match sharp. He's not fit, and he wasn't fit before his injury, in my opinion. He could barely last an hour, and he got chucked in today. We should have played Johnson at left back. Like, he's match fit, and he hasn't been injured. I just don't understand the thinking from Williams putting in Mendy. I really don't. And yeah, he was terrible. I mean, he was blowing after 20 minutes. His stamina's awful. And it's not, some of it's not his fault, but his stamina was bad before his injury. So yeah, I mean, he got absolutely rinsed by his winger like multiple times. He couldn't keep up. He's too slow. And yeah, he, like I said, he was knackered after 20 minutes, and then he did something with his hamstring. He was looking and pulling, like sort of pulling at his hamstring a bit. So I think, I mean, I don't know if it's just his really terrible fitness or that he's injured again. And if he is injured again, I think that's on Williams for playing him. He should never have started this game. It should have always been Johnston. And yeah, he was terrible, getting rinsed. His passes were awful. And he was basically getting bodied. I mean, he's a big guy, right? You know, he should be like in a physical battle, you'd back him, but he was like shoulder to shoulder. He was so weak today, and it was just one of the worst performances I've seen up until his injury. And it's partly not his fault, but I just don't think he's ever going to make it for us, and there's a reason why he wasn't playing for Wrexham in League One last season. So I'm going to give him a 2. I thought he was terrible today. Woods, again, I thought was really poor. I don't like bashing players, but I've got to be honest in these videos, and I've got to say it how I see it. And he was bad today. I think he's coming off a few bad games. I mean, he looked very, very good when Williams first came in, but Jesus, he's fallen off a cliff recently. I don't know if it's like maybe he didn't expect to start this many games, or he's not quite ready for that step up. But yeah, I don't think he had a good game at all. He tried a couple of pot shots, as he always does, and one of them just kind of dribbled into the keeper's arms, and then another one went wide. And yeah, he was bad. He made a couple of decent tackles and stuff like that, but I mean, he's a midfielder. He's going to tackle people, isn't he? Like, I can't really give him a massive amount of credit for that. I thought he was poor today. I thought he lacked composure, and I thought he just lacked a bit of guile in the middle of the field. And alongside Archie Collins, he really stood out like a sore thumb, in my opinion. I'm going to give him what do I get? I don't want to go too low, because he wasn't as bad as, say, like a Mendy or a Dornelli, so I'll give him a 4. I think that's fair. I think it was one of his poorer games, and that's becoming a bit of a trend. And I don't know if he needs to come out of the team, but yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. And just before I move on to Collins, I do want to say as well, Lees went down and for an injury and got taken off for O'Connor. I didn't actually mention that when I did his rating, but I generally think it's just because he's played too much and his body can't keep up with it anymore. He was brought in as a stopgap, and I don't think he or anyone at the club would have sort of seen him playing all these games in a row, and I just think his body gave out on him today. He's getting on in his career, and his legs just aren't up for playing every week. He's been brilliant for us, but he's lost that yard, and I don't think his body is capable of playing all the time. So yeah, hopefully it's not a long-term thing. But I'm praying for him, because he's a good player, and he's had his fitness issues, and obviously he failed a medical with us, and then we kind of just signed him anyway. So it was a bit of a weird one to begin with. So we're kind of seeing the fruits of that now. So yeah, it's concerning. Collins, I thought, was good today, a lot better than Woods. Most of his passes came off. He was good defensively, and again, Collins is one of them players. If you don't notice him, he's doing a good job, because that means he's not cocking stuff up, like misplacing passes and getting dribble pass and stuff. Collins is that player, in that role that he's the unsung hero, and I thought he did that role very well today. There was one sort of occasion where he burst forward and couldn't quite get his cross across, but that's not his game, is it? So yeah, I thought he was good. Nothing that of note that I can think of, but again, he's the unsung hero. He does all the dirty work. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. Garbett, I thought was poor today. I think he played a couple of neat passes, but a player of that quality, of course, he's going to do that. But there was one specific one that I remember where he had the ball in so much space. He must have been in about 10-15 yards. His first touch was dreadful, and he just dribbled it straight into the Port Vale player, and it was just really disappointing. And I thought he played a bit better when he got moved into the 10. I think that is obviously his preferred role, because like them little neat little intricate touches and passes he can do in the 10, he can really show off that range that he's got. But yeah, I thought he was poor on the wing today. He doesn't really have a lot of pace, so like he's not going to be a winger that beats his man and gets a cross in and stuff like that. And I just don't think he really suits being a right winger. I think he plays there for his country, but I'm not really sure why. He's definitely more suited to that 10 role, and he's yet to find his feet under Williams. And it's concerning because I feel like we're just shoehorning him in because everyone knows that he's a good player, but if he doesn't fit the system, he shouldn't play. Now, saying that as well, the other wingers haven't been amazing. Lisby, Frith, they had Odo. They haven't been good. So, there's no shock that he did play in that position. But yeah, I am a little bit concerned about Garbett. I think with Jimmy J playing as well as he does, he's not going to get into that 10, is he? Really, unless we play 2 up front and go to like a diamond. But Williams likes to play at wingers, so you're not really going to get that. And we don't have enough midfielders, in my opinion, to play the diamond, because obviously you'd have Woods maybe on the left, Collins in the 6, Garbett in the 10. But who would you have? The other side of Woods. I don't know. Because then you could play Leonard and Jimmy J up top, so it's a bit of a conundrum. And how you get the best out of Matty Garbett is putting him in that Lee Tomlin role, and just giving him the freedom, that George Boyd role where he's in the 10, maybe drifts out to the wing, and really, sort of can pull the strings. That he's got that quality, so that's up to Williams to figure out and really sort of think how we can get the best out of the player. Because if we do, wow. He's going to be some player in this league. You can tell the quality's there. But I'm going to go with the 5. And speaking of Jimmy J, I mentioned him there. Again, thought he was good. I'm not sure why he got subbed off in an hour in. I don't know if it's fitness, but it just seems to be a trend. He gets subbed off 60, 65th, 70th, whatever. And I'm just really not sure why. It's a strange one to me. So yeah, I thought he played well again today. Made some good runs, made some good passes, and him and Leonard are just a joy to watch in this division. Their link-up play is sensational, and I really enjoy watching them play. And he's got a lot of passion as well. He really cares about his teammates and the club that he's at, which is really good to see. He's properly passionate about Posh, and I love to see that in a player, because he could just come here, Chelsea youngster, prima donna, probably on 15-20 grand a week, and he's really come and proved me wrong, because I've seen plenty of them in the past. So yeah, pleasantly surprised by Jimmy J. I'm giving him a 6.5. Lisby I thought was okay. I mean, he didn't really do too much. He assisted the goal for Leonard, and his rating has been boosted up because of that. But it was a very simple pass into Leonard, and Leonard did the hard work and sort of got a really nice shot off from that pass that he got. I thought he lost the ball quite a lot when he kind of went down the wing, and he just looked quite out of control today. He got face to face with someone at one point, got his shirt torn, and I thought it was a very erratic performance from Lisby today, and I wasn't overly impressed by him. So, Lisby's Lisby, right? We need to polish that diamond, I guess. He's a good player, that he's very raw, but there's definitely some talent in there that we can get out of him. So I'm looking forward to the future, and he's going to have these inconsistencies. I just don't think he's been amazing the last couple of games, but like I said, that's going to happen. So I've given him a 5. I think that's a pretty fair rating, and yeah, I thought he was alright. Nothing to be massively concerned about. He just didn't have that end product, and he gave the ball away a bit too much for me. And then moving on to Leonard, our star boy. What a player, man. He doesn't get the service that he deserves from our wingers and our midfield. But when he does get that service, wow. He is some player. I think he should have probably had a brace today. I think that's the only thing I can say negatively towards him. He got played through by, I think it was Collins on the right hand side, chipping a ball over, and he was 1-on-1 with the keeper, hardly anyone around him. And he kind of shot near post, like straight at the keeper, and the keeper made a decent save. It was okay, but like the ball was straight at him. So you know, it was one of them. I thought that's the only thing I could mark him down. He should have had a brace, but he, you know, whenever he gets the ball, he holds it up well, passes it to the side of the pitch, and you know, to Jimmy J, and I think he is probably our best player in terms of performances. I think Garbutt is probably up there in terms of quality, you know, but in terms of putting in consistent performances every week, Leonard is right up there. And like I said earlier in the video, I can really see him getting a huge offer in January. So I'm concerned about that. I don't think we'll lose him in Jan, but I think in the summer, if he continues his form, if we're not, you know, near the top of the table, which I don't think we will be because there's too many inconsistent players in the squad, he will be off, unfortunately. But I was so impressed with him today. He took his goal amazingly, and I've given him a 7.5. And I probably could have given more, maybe an 8, but I just marked him down slightly for not getting that brace. I think he's got the quality to easily finish that chance if he just cuts it across the keeper rather than going near post. So that slight error in decision making will come with time because he's still young. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. It's been a bit of a longer one. I kind of just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a longer video because the last couple have been quite short, the Posh previews. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you do, make sure you leave a like. Let's try and get to 10 likes on this video. Comment down below what you thought of the game, and if you think we can get anywhere near the playoffs, because 3 wins in a row now, if we get a couple of more, we're right up there. The table is so congested. You know, we scored 1 goal and went from the relegation zone to like 16th. So, you know, anything can happen in football. Let me know what you guys thought of the video, and if you thought my player ratings were fair and my assessment of the game was fair. I'll be interested to know. And if you did enjoy the video and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that notification bell turned on. Let's try and hit 400 by the end of the year. And I'm really enjoying being back, guys. I love sitting down and talking Posh with you, and it's been a pleasure. So I can't wait to make the next one. And all I've got to say left now is cheers.